Hi guys, and welcome to another unboxing and first impressions. Today we're unboxing a watch from Nivada Grenchen. Nivada Grenchen is a pretty old Swiss brand that was founded in 1926, and they were one of the brands that were hit by the quartz crisis, ending the brand in the 80s. And then they were revived in 2018, and since then they've been doing reissues of their historical models from their golden age, the 50s and 60s. This is one such model, and I believe it's their flagship model, called Chronomaster Aviator Sea Diver. So it's quite a large name to swallow, so let's open the box and see what we got. Now, as usual, this is just the unboxing and first impressions, and I will be doing a full review after I spend some time with the watch. The outer box has no branding except once you open it. Then we have this box. Let's move this away. It comes with a sleeve that shows an airplane, a complete command of time. Very cool. Then we have this like a leather or rubberized material. This is the outer box, and you just slide it out like this. Apparently there's information here. Yes, you have the warranty card and some information about the watch. Pretty cool. I'm not sure it's very practical. And here you have like a stand with this felt material, and here's the watch on a pillow. The pillow is pretty nice, and there's this tag, hang tag, Nivada Grenchen Chronomaster, which is quite heavy. Let's remove that and then take a look at the watch up close. Now this Chronomaster Aviator Sea Diver, like I said, is, let me just do it off camera because this is showing, it's turning out to be impossible to do it on camera. There we go. This Chronomaster Aviator Sea Diver is a recreation of their watch with the same name from the 1960s. And as you can see, it's a pretty faithful recreation all the way down to the size. So this is 38 point something millimeters in width with 46 point something lug to lug. I'll have the exact measurements for the full review. This comes with both a manual wind and automatic version of a mechanical chronograph. Both are the same movement, a Salida MW or 510 or something like that. One is an automatic, one is without a rotor, so it's a manual wind. I actually wanted a manual wind, but they were unavailable at the moment, so they sent me an automatic. And they're pretty much the same except for the thickness. The manual wind ends up right here where the case ends, being 13 point something, and a lot of that is the crystal, while this one has a huge bulge on the case back to accommodate the rotor, increasing the size, the thickness to 14.8, which is quite chunky, and as you can see it is. But again, most of it, a lot of it is this crystal, so it doesn't actually look that bad. But let's put it on my wrist, my 6.7 inch wrist, to see how it looks. Okay, let me just zoom out, hold the bracelet like this. And as you can see, the dimensions are perfect for a vintage-inspired chronograph. The thickness is quite high, but it actually looks okay because the caseback kind of digs into your wrist, so the actual watch is not that thick. Very cool. The crystal is a double-domed sapphire crystal, and you have a wide range of dial hand combinations as well as straps, including a tropical strap, a leather strap, but this is my favorite, a beads of rice bracelet. If you never owned a watch with a beads of rice bracelet and you're into watches, you owe it to yourself to try it at least once. These are the most comfortable bracelets you will ever try, and this one seems pretty good. Solid links, solid end links, but a very cheaply made stamped clasp that doesn't even have a trigger release. It's just friction fitted, which is kind of disappointing, but given the nature of this watch being a recreation of a skin diver chronograph from the 60s, I believe this was done on purpose to make it feel more vintagey, which they surely did, but honestly I would prefer a modern clasp. because this is just not acceptable for a watch that's about just slightly under $2,000. The bracelet versions, both the manual and automatic, are I believe $1,930 or something like that dollars, and on the strap you save about $200, dropping the price to $1,700 something, which is pretty okay price for a Swiss mechanical chronograph. And this one, like I said, is on automatic, and as you can see, it's already running. And now let's get to the functions and this lengthy name. So the Chronomaster means that as you can see, it has a screw-in crown. The Chronomaster means that it's a chronograph, and not just any chronograph, but let me try to zoom in and try to get the camera focus. As you can see, these are the subdials of the minutes. Let me just start the chronograph. Very nice snappy action, and as you can see, this red section actually goes from -5 to 0 because this is an actual yachting timer for regatta racing. So you have a 5-minute countdown before the chronograph starts to count up to 30 minutes, which is pretty cool. So that's the Chronomaster part. The aviator part comes from the bezel, because the bezel is not only a dive bezel. If you look closely, you will see that under the minutes you have the hour markers from 1 to 12, meaning that you can track a secondary time zone. So you just find the time difference, align it with the hours, and you can read another time zone. Pretty cool. And then you have the sea diver, because even the original from the 60s and this one were both 100 meters water resistant, which is just ridiculous for a vintage chronograph. This is a modern iteration, but it's even cooler to know that even the original from the 60s was capable of 100-meter dives. Very cool. So the name is there for a reason. It kind of packs a lot of functions into one watch. So you have a dive bezel and also secondary time bezel. You have a chronograph, but it's a regatta chronograph with a 5-minute countdown, and you have the amazing water resistance. Very cool. Now let's try to do a loom shot, and that's probably gonna be it for today's video. Like I said, stay tuned for the full review after I spend some time with the watch. Then I'll have the macro shots to see how well it's made up close, and I'll see how it is day to day. Now, being an automatic is going to be more practical than a manual wind, but I'm about to see, I'll see if this is just too thick. To me, in my opinion, you should go for the manual. Not only is it going to be thinner, but it's more true to the original. Now, as you can see, the case is actually pretty simple, but original looking, and it's a combination of brushed, and I can see some polished surfaces here. Okay, anyways, that's it. So let me just charge the loom, do a loom shot, and that's gonna be it. Okay, let's get the camera to focus, zoom in a bit if we can, and turn off the light to check out this faux patina loom. I'm usually not a fan of faux patina loom because it usually glows slightly weaker, and I kind of don't like the fakiness of it. Let me turn off the light, but okay, this is the second time I've seen sand-colored loom glow like crazy. This is really, really good. Wow. Amazing. Okay, so the loom is not a problem when it comes to glow. The one thing that I don't like is the fakery of this faux patina sand-colored loom, but actually on this, I think it kind of works. I don't know. You decide. Anyways, there's so many dial and hand configurations that I'm pretty sure anyone can find something they like. I do like the case shape, the case finish, and the bracelet minus the clasp. I wish they included a modern clasp. The watch itself is pretty cool, especially with this domed sapphire, and it's just slightly too thick for my taste, but that can be solved by switching to a manual wind instead of an automatic, which is what I should have done. If it was available, they would have sent me, but it's, like I said, pretty much the same watch. Let me just stop the chronograph, reset it. Again, very nice and snappy action. Very cool recreation of a vintage watch where they actually made it look and feel vintage because they didn't increase the size. So kudos for having the courage to do that. Anyways, that's it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, stay tuned for the full review, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.